Today we are going to talk about a very controversial lady. In Kenya's history, she's she scores very high in brainwashing people. She would take very many people, confuse them, and even some of the people that she used to confuse were very prominent people. I remember even a member of parliament was one of her confused followers. Viewers, today we are going to talk about Mary Akatsa. Mary Akatsa, she had several names, but she was known by two, Mary Akatsa, or occasionally she would be called Mary SINAIDA Akatsa. She was a lawyer. She resided in a place called Muslim in Kawangware. I've done my research to find out why the place is called Muslim. To date, I don't know. There is no mosque. There is no large population of people who speak, who confess to Islamic belief, but the area is called Muslim. She was staying there and she brainwashed people there. Mary Akatsa was employed as a house help in Nairobi. And when she started her religion, among the first people she converted were her employers, the couple that had employed her. She started a church at Muslim in Kawangware, and she even broke record as somebody who claimed to communicate with stars. Yes, you heard me, stars. She also claimed to be somebody who brought Jesus to Kawangware. That one I'll come to it in detail as I say that. The prominent politician who used to attend her services was Fred Omido. Fred Omido was a trade unionist, Kotu, and he was also an MP in one of the, I think it is Makadara, if not Bahati. He was an MP there. They parted ways when, I mean, Fred Omido does not say why they parted ways, but she says that one time he told her that she should talk to Jesus to block other people who are going to campaign against him. Just Jesus to make sure that he is elected, and then she claimed that she refused to do that. Well, we don't know, but what I know is that before they differed, Fred Omido used to bankroll the church. He used to bankroll the church, and the church used to be full. Imagine in mid-80s, in a place like Kawangware, you find that 6,000 people congregate every Sunday. Even by today's standard, 6,000 people in a church is a big number. So people used to meet around 6,000. And Momide is the one who used to bankroll the church service. Because as you know, a place like Kawangware, most of the people who used to attend the church services were poor people. And even if although there was also allegation that people used not to pay tithe, but I believe the best definition is that you would just give what you wanted at what time you wanted. There's no time an usher would go around. There was no time an usher would go around picking things. But I think as you leave, there was a place you just went and gave out money because she used to make a lot of money. There's a time she claimed, there's a time. And you see, I've seen people, she's in the same group with Kina Kanyari, although Kanyari is the learned. I don't know whether she went to school, but you see, Kanyari is that type of a person who went to school, at least secondary, somebody whom you could communicate in English and whatever. But I doubt whether she even stepped in Form 1. So she's the Kanyari type. She's the type of people whom we believe, and she's the type of people whom we trust that one time, we should have something like LSK. You know, LSK is a body that regulates lawyers and it is run by lawyers. So I think it is high time that the churches form something like that. Can I call it, for the sake of this, a religious society of Kenya, something like that, so that when you wanted to just start a church or if you wanted to preach or anything, you should be registered by the Religious Society of Kenya. We have, you can find this, look at Mackenzie of Shakahola. He doesn't look like somebody who is educated, but these people, you find that I don't know whether it is demonic. I can call it demonic. They have powers to control people. To control people, you find they control people, even those who are educated. Just to walk out slightly, I think it was 1999 when in Karen, a professor in Nairobi University resigned from the professorship, and I was staying in Karen in his place, and police came and found that actually it is neighbors. You know, Karen is not like any other place. You stay in your compound, but then neighbors could not see him coming in and going out. They could not see him coming in, they could not see him going out, they could not see his children going to school. So they went and reported to Karen police station. Karen police station came and found this fellow, him and his family, and even his school going kids had sold all their worldly property, and they were just taking water, and they were so thin. I don't know where the case ended, but it was there in the press. We have these religious people who are brainwashing people. And if you find people who follow Kina Mackenzie and whatever, now Mackenzie are today's brainwashers. The original ones were like Kina Mary Akatsa. So you find that in the meeting, in the prayers, you'll find that it takes hours. It takes hours. And she talks a lot of things. But you see, she can talk something, a thousand things, and only one thing comes out. But she will not talk about the 999 things that did not come out. No, she'll always talk about that one thing that came. So there was a time there's a time she told people that God has told her that just like Jesus, was it not? I think we have several, I'm not so good in religion, but we have several people in the Bible who stopped the sun from moving. There are those who stopped the sun from moving. I remember maybe in the Old Testament, I went to Kiganjo and GSU training school, so I never went to theology school. But there is somebody who whom Israelites were fighting some neighbors, and he liked the war so much that the sun stood for several hours so that he finishes off the enemies. There is such a thing in the Bible. So she also said that since she's the today's Christ, she said that on a certain day she would bring out a star. She would command a star to appear, and later on, people from Muslim Kawangware Muslim and Dagoretti Corner is not far. Later on, the meteorological department in Dagoretti Corner said that whatever she was telling people was a helium. Is it called helium? It's a helium balloon which was released into the air for weather purposes. But she brought people, and it used to be around, is it 11:30 a.m., just a few minutes to noon, 11:30 a.m., people would look up and they would see something shiny. And then they would praise God and say, hey, Dada Mary. Yeah, actually, people used to call her Dada Mary. So Dada Mary, ameleta nyota, she has brought a star. That is one of the so-called magics that she did, and really attracted more people. The other magic that she claimed to have done is that one time she told the people to, that was in June 1988, that was 11th June 1988. She told her followers to come back, to come to church. She told them that on that day, June 11th, 1988, Jesus would come. She would invite Jesus to come. The picture you see, that is what she called Jesus. And then they reached a place. You see, these people, they reach a place, then they say wanashikwa na roho. They went into friends. I started talking in tongues, and she told them to close their eyes. Then they closed, and then they all started shouting, Jesus of Nazareth, please come and visit. Jesus of Nazareth, come and visit us. And then when she led them into prayers, after finishing prayer, she said, kwa jina la Yesu Kristo mwokozi wetu. Then they said, Amen. And when they opened their eyes, they saw somebody there who is the image that we generally believe. You see, during Jesus' time, there was no camera. But there is this generally belief that we believe that Jesus used to look like this and that. So this fellow came, appeared from nowhere. And let me tell you, he appeared at the time when people had been told to close their eyes. So he appeared, and when he appeared, he gave a lot of advice to people, how to live well, how to do whatever, just positive thinking. And he told those who are congregating there that there are so many false prophets in the world, but he was certifying that Mary Akassa is the only genuine prophet that is there. So don't believe in any other. And he promised them that he will come very soon. And when he said so, you see, people were ready. People were ready to see him. You see, when she said he's coming, they didn't know whether he'll come in spirit. They didn't know whether he will come in Holy Spirit, or he'll come in a sort of like tear gas or something, appear in a smoke or something. But here was somebody, a human being, if I can say so, somebody whom they could touch, and who was just within them. They wanted to see how he will go back to heaven. But instead of flying to heaven or even disappearing, uh, he asked if there was somebody there with a vehicle who could take him to town. There was a Muhindi, a Kalasinga. You see, Mary Akassa, a lot of people used to come to hide. So there were even Indians there. There is a Kalasinga who agreed to take him to town. But this Kalasinga was very, I mean, this thing about offering yourself also has some hidden things, because he also wanted to see where Jesus would go and ascend to heaven. So he carried the so-called Jesus into his vehicle, and they went and reached, is it OTC? I think they reached somewhere where OTC is, and the so-called Jesus just disappeared into the crowd, Nairobi crowd. And what people noticed is that he did not have shoes, he was walking barefooted. So that is when Akassa claimed that she had called Jesus to her. But before he disappeared, he told them that he's going back to heaven, but then the last day he's coming and he will take them and other good Christians. We have seen this thing about this kina Mackenzie, kina nani. If I'm not wrong, I think Mary Akassa is the one who started such type of beliefs. Because okay, Pentecostal and vitu ya kuokoka nini, they were brought up by Jokai, Dr. Jokai, who died recently. If you look at my videos, uh, about a year ago, I talked about Jokai. He brought it to Kenya, Pentecostal. But I'm not talking of Pentecostal like PAG, KAG. No, no, no. I'm talking of this one man guitar churches which are like Mackenzie. I think Mary Akassa is one of the pioneers. Uh, and then she brought in this thing about dramatization. Dramatization that she brought, one of the reasons why we should have church leaders, one of the reasons why you should have church leaders attending at least a certificate course in theology. You see, what do you call? Church leaders are also like doctors. They are not supposed to reveal anything confidential to you. I mean, to other people, even to your spouse. And if they notice anything, if Roho ya Bwana can tell them, because I have no capacity to know whether it is true Roho ya Bwana inawaambia, but if Roho ya Bwana tells them, what stops them from telling the couple, tell them that, can you come on Wednesday, just the two of you to the office and we talk. But you find the way they talk, I'm trying to look for kanjia ingine ya kuongea behind you read the lines, but even even that one is just obscene. You'd find she just calls a lady, we mama kuja hapa, and the lady is standing next to the husband. Maybe the lady is even a member of the church and has just told the husband, can't we go to kwa dada Mary? They go there, they start talking, we ulienda kwa mganga uroge bwanako sijui ndio asikize wazazi wake, such things. That she's the one as far as I know, she's the one who started such things. And you see, it would really cause a lot of things, because even meeting the couple, the husband and wife, and telling one of them such things in such a, you have to have tacts, you have to prepare them and whatever. And you see people like Dada Mary and Mackenzie, they are not even interested in solving the problem or anything. They are interested in giving the impression like that they talk to Jesus straight one on one, the way you talk to your friends on TV. This lady had a very funny way of preaching, especially men, men whom she felt that did not measure up to whatever. She would slap them. She would slap them in the presence of their spouses, in the presence of their children, and they would really. And if you want to know how she used to slap those people, I can remind you of the colonial police when they arrest somebody or anything, or can I say the way the way the National Police Service would arrest you if you resisted and became violent. Not just resisting, because resisting they are supposed to carry you up and eh, uh, on air. No, I'm not saying that. But if you are trying to fight back when they have come to arrest you, that is how she used to beat, kick the person, do whatever. That was her funny way of handling men. And you'd be beaten, and what you'd say was hey, yeah, unanyenyekea. I don't even think a child, a primary school kid being beaten by the parent could nyenyekea that way. I've said that she claimed to have brought a star, which of course was proven to be uh, property belonging to a meteorological department. I have said she claimed to have brought in Jesus, but she did another thing which was also bizarre. There's a man, I think he was a lawyer. There's a man who was planning a wedding, and she was to officiate the wedding. She was to officiate the wedding, and just before the wedding happened, the man died. She said she cannot bury. You see, the couple, was to be married in her church, and the couple were believers in her church, and so she was to officiate the wedding, but then the man died, so she was to officiate the funeral, and she arrived at the funeral, and this is what she did. I know most of you will not believe me, especially those outside Kenya, and even those who are within Kenya. If you're not a lawyer, you will not believe me, but believe it or not, she said that the man cannot be. We have some tradition like Luhya that a man who is past the circumcision age, in Luhya tradition, any man who is past circumcision age, if he dies and it is discovered that he was not circumcised, then according to Luhya tradition, he has to be circumcised before being taken. I think that is where she got that idea. So she said she'll not bury him until he marries this lady. So what they did two things in one day. The first thing they did was that the lady was dressed in a wedding, so she went there. I don't know how it was conducted, because in first of all, in Kenyan law, weddings are supposed to be between two adult people of different genders, two adult people of different genders who are willingly undertaking the wedding. Now, if one of them if one of them has medical problem, especially mental, and he or she has a mental problem or other health, but especially mental, then they cannot undertake the wedding until that person is lucid. Lucid in law is a person who is, you know, mwenda wazimu. There are a few occasions when he or she regains normalcy before relapsing on that. So during the time when mwenda wazimu is lucid, any decision, he or she is a legal person when that person is lucid. Now, this is not even a madman or anything. This is somebody who has died and he's in a coffin. So she went and officiated. Now, in weddings, the lady said, I do, isn't it? But hapo pahali sikujua sana. I don't know whether there was somebody else who said, I do for the man. Now, after exchanging rings, then the lady was taken into the house. You see, she was dressed in white, wedding clothes. Then she went back to the house, changed, and now put on black to show that she's she's now putting on funeral clothes. Okay, I know, and I appreciate, and I support that we have some people who treat funerals like wedding. In this way, don't take me wrong. There are those people who take that you are married to God or something. I mean, you are going to join God, something like that. So they celebrate that. That is okay, because that is religious, whatever. But then taking somebody who has been dead and who is about to be buried, then you have his widow. First of all, you declare her a bride. She puts on she puts on a ring, and she puts on a ring on a dead body, and then she goes again and puts a ring on herself, and then rushes to the house. Now becomes a widow, comes back in black, and now they are going to bury. She's very funny. She even reached a place. Mary Akassa. She reached a place where she used to go to Mwea. She used to go to Mwea to buy this pishori rice. She would go to Mwea, buy pishori rice. And when she buys pishori rice, she had this packaging material which was written New Jerusalem, whatever, and she could package that rice for half a kilo. So she would tell the people, she would tell the Christian that for you to go to heaven, this is like sacrament, so you have to buy. And you see, buying half a kilo of pishori from her at a price that is even 10 times what she got. And also she had some farms. I don't know whether it is in Nairobi, but most likely in Western. She had some farms where she had planted things. She had planted, one of the things she had planted was sugar cane. So she would come and say, you see, every sugar canes have got segment. So she would cut every segment. And instead of selling the sugar cane at 1 shilling per segment, she would sell it at even 100 shillings. And she would tell people, just chew the uh, chew the sugar cane and believe that uh, chew the sugar cane and believe that it is a sugar cane that came wholly from Jerusalem. That is how she was. The other thing that was unique about it, because I've seen, there was a time when I used to even be a video man. I used to record, what do you call, functions using my video camera. And when I used to carry the function with my video camera, I do recall that in many cases, uh, people were, as much as possible, encouraged to be from one denomination. There were even cases, and there were so many cases where you find that the two, the bwana harusi na bibi harusi, they used to be told, okay, you belong to different churches, but after wedding, you join one. And in most cases, they used to join the church that the man used to congregate at. But a good number, I remember, the lady, each one could go to whichever religion he or she was, but during the wedding, they would decide maybe to go to the husband's church or the woman's church, but after wedding, there was the woman was encouraged. The woman was encouraged to leave her religion and join the. She was encouraged, not forced. So that is a position I have got on what used to happen, and I believe it still happens. But in Madam Mary's church, I think it used to be called New Jerusalem Church. In her church, they used to treat it that you cannot marry from the same church. They used to take it that it was like incest. Because both of you are in that church, so it shows that it's like a brother and sister are married. Although in other churches, actually, ask any religion, any, be it Mormon's church, be it Muslim, be it Christianity, they say that it is much better if the couple do congregate in one church and one place. But they say that in case where they don't congregate in the same church, maybe one is an Anglican and the other one is a Salvation Army. Many churches, they encourage, but they don't force. If the two couples are comfortable with each going to his or her church, they continue that way. But I have never come across any church whereby it is banned. You are not allowed to marry somebody from your church. I'm sure my viewer will not even believe that. So that is Mary Akassa, a very controversial person, a person whom, if you ask me, she's demonic. Thank you.